townspeople made wreaths and crosses to place upon the headstones. Flags waved proudly at half-staff. An American tradition was born. I stand before you on this proud day of remembrance and ask you that you join not only remembering those who made the ultimate sacrifice for the good of the great nation, but truly reflecting on their legacy. There has been no other nation on earth whose sacrifices have been more greater than ours. Nowhere in the pages of history has there been a country before ours that has paid a higher price for the freedom of others. Thank you to the Lone Tree for continuing this tradition of this somber day for 123 consecutive days. And at this time, Gary will now come up and say his remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Gary Winnie. I'm the events coordinator here at Lone Tree Cemetery, and I want to welcome all of you to our 123rd Memorial Day program. It is really an honor for us to present this program for all of the friends, family, and loved ones after the program. Our Matttos monuments for providing all of the donuts for this morning's breakfast. And on behalf of Lone Tree Cemetery's Board of Directors, all of the staff, the friends and family of this memorial park, I want to thank you all again for being here today. And she's already introduced herself, but this time I would like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for today's program, First Sergeant Kathleen Vargas.
Thank you, Gary. And at this time, we'll be parading the colors, so if you are able to stand for the posting of the parading of the colors and the playing of the national anthem, please do so. If you served in the military, it would be appropriate to render a salute, or otherwise, could you please place your hand over your right heart? Thank you. Parade the colors, VFW Post 9601. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to call forward Bobby Matttos, the President of the Board of Trustees of Lone Tree Cemetery Association.
Good morning again, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. As Gary mentioned, it takes a lot of effort to put this program together. And so on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Board of Directors, I just want to, again, thank you and welcome you, but also, and they won't want any of the credit, but I want to thank our office team, our sales team who's been handing out donuts since I think 8:30, and our park services who spends months preparing the grounds so that they look beautiful for today, but also all year round. So if we can give them a round of applause. This is an event that literally never, we never stop planning for. As soon as this is over, the team's getting together and debriefing and talking about next year. So I just wanted to share a brief story because I think it illustrates how meaningful this is to all of us, that Chow, who's speaking later, is out there working on her flag project. And I know she's not going to want me to tell this story, but it's February and it's cold, and she's already working on Memorial Day. So it's just amazing to see how many people put this together and pour their hearts into it. And again, we're just truly grateful to support it. So again, thank you all for being here, and have a great Memorial Day.
Thank you, Bobby. At this time, I'd like to call up Specialist U.S. Army
Surrounded by rows of stone that silently testify to the courage and sacrifice of those who served our nation. On this Memorial Day, we pause to remember the men and women who laid down their lives in defense of freedom, justice, and the ideals that we hold so dear. Lord, we thank Thee for the selfless bravery of these our fallen heroes. They answered the call of duty, left behind families and futures, and faced danger that others might live in peace and security. Their names may fade from living memory, but their sacrifice endures in the life and liberty that we enjoy today. Comfort, we pray, the families and friends who feel the ache of their absence. Wipe away the tears from their eyes with Thy gentle presence, and remind them that the love that they shared is never lost. Grant them strength, peace, and the knowledge that their loved one's service was not in vain. May we, the living, honor those brave souls, not only with words and flowers, but with lives lived in gratitude and responsibility. Instill in us a renewed commitment to the values they defended and the unity they sought to preserve. Guide our nation toward peace, wisdom, and justice, so that future generations may be spared the cost of war. Eternal God, we trust the souls of these Thy fallen to Thy merciful care. May they rest in everlasting peace beneath the shade of Thy presence. And may their memory inspire us to be better citizens and more faithful stewards of the freedoms they secured. Amen.
Thank you, Specialist Carlson. At this time, I would like to call up Petty Officer First Class Ella Luau of the U.S. Navy Sea Cadets to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You may be seated. At this time, I would like to acknowledge some of the special guests that are here. Nate Miley, Alameda County Supervisor, District 4. And I didn't know if anyone else popped in. I know a couple people popped in and popped out. Were there any other elected officials? He gets his own time in the program. The mayor is here. He'll be coming up. So at this time, the Hayward Municipal Band will play the Armed Forces Melody. Thank you, Rita. Thank you for coming.
Your branch of the military, please stand so that we might honor you. The Army. Coast Guard. The Marines. United States Air Force. The Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I say remember, please repeat remember after me. It is set for one. The table is our way of acknowledging the fact that there are members of our profession who are not present. We call them brothers and sisters. This table is set for one is small, symbolizing the frailty of each individual service member engaged in battle against the enemy. Remember. The table is round, representing our everlasting concern. Remember. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their nation, to their country's call to arms. Remember. The black napkin stands for the emptiness these warriors have left in the hearts of their families and friends. Remember. The single red rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who suffered their loss. Remember. The ribbon represents the love of country that inspired the service members to serve their nation. Remember. The candle. The candle is lit, symbolizing the upward reach of their unconquerable spirit and everlasting hope. Remember. A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. Remember. There is salt on the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears. Remember. The glass is inverted. They cannot drink with us today. Remember. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain us in those lost from our country, founded by one nation under God. Remember. The chair. The chair is empty. They are not here. Remember. Remember, all of you who served with them and called them comrades, who depended upon their might and aid and relief upon them. Remember. In a small tribute, I ask that you please stand as we take a moment of silence as an expression of our gratitude to our brothers and sisters in arms who have made the ultimate sacrifice for us. Thank you. Please remain standing for text.
Actually, be seated at this time. Thank you. At this time, I'll be reading General Order number 11, which is on the 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing the flowers and otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in this land. In this observance, no form of ceremony is prescribed, but post and comrades will in their own way arrange such fitting services and testimonies of respects and circumstances may permit. We are organized comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind and fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, and the Marines who united to suppress the late rebellion. What can aid more to assure this result than tenderly cherishing the memory of our heroic dead who made their breast a barricade between our country and its foes? The soldiers live where the rebel of the freedom to a race in chains, and their deaths the tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. All that have consecrated wealth and taste of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of her slain defenders. Let no wanton foot tread rudely on such hollow grounds. Let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism or neglect, no ravage of time testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of free and undivided republic. In others' eyes grow dull, others' hands slack, and others' heart cold. In the solemn trust, ours shall keep it well as long as the light and warmth of life remains among us. Let us then, at the time appointed, gather around the sacred mains and garland the passionless mounds above them with the choicest flowers of springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag that saved from dishonor. Let us in the solemn presence renew our pledge to aid and assist those whom they have left among us as sacred charge upon a nation's gratitude, the soldiers and the sailors, widows and orphans. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate this observance with the hope it will be kept up from year to year, while a survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of the departed comrade. The earnestly desires the public to press to lend its friendly aid in bringing the notice of comrades in all parts of the country in time for stimulus compliance therewithin. Department Commander will use efforts to make this effective order. Commander-in-Chief John A. Logan, Adjutant General. At this time, I would like to bring the City of Hayward Mayor up, Mark Salinas, for his comments of the day. Mayor, please.
Thank you. My name is Mark Salinas, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving all of you as the mayor of the city of Hayward. I wanted to acknowledge a few people that are here. One, and I know her name was already called, but Rita Duncan. Where's Rita? Rita from the Oraloma Sanitation District. Let's give Rita a big round of applause. From California, from the California State Assembly office of Liz Ortega, Karishma, presence is important, and it's always good to see that the assembly member sent one of her representatives. Of course, who was here a little bit earlier, she had to leave to go to Livermore, but our BART director, Melissa Hernandez, and her assistant, Madison. So let's give Madison and Melissa Hernandez a big round of applause. And of course, Supervisor Nate Miley, homegrown right here. And this is his district, right here. So, and of course, what they teach us in mayor school is always introduce your wife. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife, Letty Salinas, is sitting right there. Well, welcome to the 123rd Memorial Day ceremony here at Lone Tree Cemetery. Today we gather as a city to honor the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces who gave their lives in service to our country, the United States. Memorial Day reminds us that freedom comes at a cost. Behind every American flag placed today is a son, a daughter, a parent, a friend, a neighbor, who made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation. Today, we also honor the diversity of those who served. Americans from every racial, ethnic, cultural, and religious background answered the call to defend this country. African American soldiers, Mexican American service members, Native American code talkers, Japanese American soldiers, Chinese American veterans, Filipino Americans, women in uniform, and countless others stood together in service for the United States. Here in Hayward, generations of families whose origins are humble, are immigrant, and proud historically stepped up to serve our nation. For some, they returned home to continue building our city and our region. For others, they came home and were laid to rest. Today, we remember them with gratitude, with dignity, and with respect. As mayor of the city of Hayward and on behalf of the Hayward City Council, I thank all of you for being here to continue this important and continuous celebration for 123 years. By gathering together, we ensure that the sacrifices of our fallen heroes are never, ever forgotten. God bless our fallen service members, God bless their families, and God bless the United States. And just one small observation, and I wanted to acknowledge this because I'm sure it was done with a lot of intention and deliberateness. I wanted to acknowledge all of the young cadets that are here today because it is absolutely important that we start cultivating early in what we call in the business bench strength. And if our bench looks like the cadets we have today, we're in good hands. Thank you.
Cadets and young Marines, amazing. And at this point, it's my pleasure and honor to introduce another female that served her country. that many people know who have come to the ceremonies here at Lone Tree for many years. She's been an integral part of it. Her name is Kathy Chow, and she was a lieutenant in the Navy Nurse Corps for several years. And then after she left the Navy, she continued to serve her community as a nurse, serving in several roles prior to her retirement. And most of the time, veterans have very long bios, but I had to get these little bits of information from her because she's very humble and didn't want me to go on about everything she's done for the people that were living that she took care of, and now how she continues their memory here at Lone Tree. But Kathy has been taking care of making sure every single veteran that's lying to rest here at Lone Tree for over 25 years, I think she said 27 years, she makes sure that every identified veteran has a flag placed on them, whether one person shows up to help her or whether 50 people shows up to help her. Kathy's been out there making sure they have flags on them. And Kathy also makes sure at the end of today's service at 3 o'clock, she will be out there, whether one person shows up or 50 people take those flags out and put them away after they've been cleaned up and stored them for next year. Another thing you may not know about Kathy, but Kathy is a very talented artist. And if you didn't notice from last year's ceremony to this year's ceremony, that there is a new sculpture as you enter Lone Tree, the praying hands, and Kathy made those praying hands. And underneath that there's a niches also available for remains, but Kathy designed that. And so with that said, not to carry on it too much more about Kathy, but we now started a tradition because now there's 2 years in a row Kathy's been speaking, and for many other years in a row, we've had Kathy leading the band. So next year, I'm going to try and find another Kathy that wants to be a guest speaker if there's any Kathys in the audience. But without further ado, Kathy Chow.
Okay, I've listened to everybody else talk, and but I'm embarrassed to take credit just because, oh gosh, you gotta say thank you. And anyway, I had a good friend who convinced me to do this because she said, why don't you talk about how the flags get put up every year? Because she thought that the grounds people did that. And so I was going to do that, but that's what I'm going to talk about. I was a U.S. Navy Reserve Nurse Corps officer. I worked active duty for 6 years. And during that time, my job was taking care of patients, active duty, retired family members, and training the corpsmen to prepare for battle. I loved that job. But here's a fun fact. When active duty service members are in the hospital and they get better and they're discharged, they have to get up, they got to strip their beds, wash down their unit, and make sure that the laundry gets put in the laundry bin because they're getting paid for being in the hospital. Right? Fun fact, anyway. That doesn't happen in a civilian hospital. So I got out of the Navy and started a family, and now I love serving Lone Tree Cemetery as a volunteer to put out the flags every year. And I thank Lone Tree Cemetery for letting me play in their yard every year. It's really a beautiful ground. When my son was in Cub Scouts at East Avenue School, is it that way? We wanted the boys to make a connection locally in the community. So we called up Lone Tree Cemetery and we said, hey, can our kids come and put out flags? And Master Sergeant Alan Strutz, I don't know if you guys know him, he's got a bench sitting over here, and he and some women from the Legionnaires would decorate the flags, the vets' markers every year. And so he said, no, they can't come. They were in second grade. No, these young boys will just mess things up. So we came anyway, and we followed him around, and he told us where to put the flags, and this one gets a marker, And the kids at that time had to put a screwdriver in the ground, drill a hole, and then put the stick in the ground. And by next year, he called me and said, "Are you still coming? Are you going to come again?" Because he was 81 when we first met him, and those young boys can bend over and push sticks into the ground a lot easier than somebody that age. And I think after a couple years, I'm sorry, I have my back to you. After a few years, I tell people I arm wrestled Alan Strooks for the job of coordinating the flags because I always take over jobs. I want to organize it better. One of the problems we had as coordinating this was Alan knew these people. He worked with them, served with them, lived with them, and I didn't know where they were. We have a big problem because if you look over at the veterans section there, every veteran gets a flag. And every marker there gets a flag. It's easy. It's like Arlington National Cemetery, where everybody gets a flag. But there, Arlington, all the lines are in straight rows and diagonals, and it is not like that here. Every section has a different way of counting things, and it's hard to find because they're mixed, civilians and military people. And the other thing is, you are entitled to a government-issued gravestone, and I'm calling them markers, if you ask for them. But some people were buried here and didn't ask for them, or they chose to make a family marker out of something granite or whatever. So our kids come on to put this up, and they're looking at markers that are military. They're looking at family markers that maybe some of them have the Vietnam veteran on there or something else, and some of them have nothing written about service at all. And then there are about 50 markers of veterans, 50 burial sites for veterans that have no name or marker at all. So that was a hurdle we had to cross. I'm talking without reading because I've crossed out so much stuff here. So I want to tell you what we do on Friday before Memorial Day. We wait till the kids get out of school, so from about 3 to 6 p.m., everybody meets up here. I'm sure you've seen how big this property is and all the flags there. If you haven't seen them all, when you drive out, make sure you take a trip around. But we divide things up and groups go here with flags and lists and maps, and they go there and there. And some years we have a few, like you said, and some years we have a lot of people that come. It just seems like every year, no matter how many people show up, the Lord provides and we get the job done before they lock us out of the gate. I think the simple act of placing flowers on the graves may seem like a small thing, but it carries deep meaning. It says to the vets, you are remembered, your sacrifice matters, and your life will not be forgotten. Alan Stroots gave me a list of veterans hard to find. There were 283 names on that Excel spreadsheet. And if anybody's ever used Excel, it's so frustrating because it's got too many automatic things, and I don't realize what I've done afterwards. But our list now includes 2,183 names. And now I know we don't have everybody listed because on Saturday and Sunday after the kids put out all the flags, I come back and some good friends come too, and we check every area in the property. And always, someone will come up to me and say, hey, can I ask you why you don't put a flag on my father's grave or something like that? And sometimes we make a mistake and we miss it, and I'm glad they tell me. But sometimes we don't know that they are veterans. So please, if you have somebody that's a veteran, come tell us. Come tell the staff or tell me. I'm not here all the time, but they are. And we'll get them on the list and we'll make sure that everybody has it, because we want to carry this forward. I'm not going to live forever, and I'm not going to keep being frustrated with Excel spreadsheet. But we want to carry this forward, and it's a lovely thing that we do. We keep now. So years ago, Lone Tree has also supported the Scouts by allowing them to do Eagle projects here, and I just want to go through quickly some of the projects. One year, some very good guys and their father enjoyed doing GPS location for every veteran marker that we had identified at that time. Those maps lasted about 10, 12 years. It was on Google Maps, and that program was free at the time, and then they started wanting to charge us. But also GPS location changes over time, so the markers were off when we reprint the maps. A Girl Scout did, then tried to do a mapping program with a QR code. That was too much for me. I couldn't use it. Then another Girl Scout gold project was putting flag tubes. We decided if we marked each marker with a tube, and it has a hole in for the flag, then we could just identify these. The kids could walk by and pop in the flags. We had some issues with this, so also a Boy Scout Eagle project was improving these tubes. We've had a project where some Boy Scout did his Eagle project by getting a marker from the federal government for Private Carl Phillips Rogers, U.S. Army, World War I. And he's got a nice shiny upright white in the veterans section there. And last year, Eagle Project, they washed every marker for the military all over the cemetery. So I thank them, and honestly, they help all over. You've heard them talk about that. So this is how we are training everybody that we know to honor our vets. Just in closing, I have to read something here. Memorial Day asks every one of us to reflect on the cost of freedom, to teach younger generations why these flags are here, why cemeteries like this matter. It's about, and why names engraved in the stones should be spoken aloud. It's about those who never came home and their families whose lives are changed forever. May we remember that freedom is not guaranteed. It is always dependent on ordinary Americans willing to do extraordinary things in service to others. Thank you for being here, and thank you for helping continue the tradition of remembering at Lone Tree Cemetery.
Thank you, Kathy. At this time, we will be listening to a recorded message by Lynn R. Owens, America.
America? You ask me why I love her. Well, give me time and I'll explain. Have you seen a Kansas sunset? Arizona rain? Have you drifted on a bayou down Louisiana way? Or have you seen the cold fog drifting over San Francisco Bay? Have you heard of Bob White calling in the Carolina Pines, or heard the bellow of a diesel in the Appalachia mines? Does the call of the Niagara thrill you when you hear her waters roar, and do you look with awe and wonder at her Massachusetts shore, where men have braved a hard new world, first step on Plymouth Rock? Do you think of them when you stroll along a New York City dock? Have you seen a snowflake drifting in the Rockies way up high? Have you seen the sun come blazing down from a bright Nevada sky? Do you hail to the Columbia as she rushes to the sea? Or have you bowed your head at Gettysburg at our struggle to be free? Have you seen a mighty Tetons or watched an eagle soar? Have you seen the Mississippi roll along Missouri's shore? Or have you felt the chill of Michigan when on a winter's day her waters rage along her shore in a thunderous display? Does the word aloha make you warm? And do you stare in disbelief when you see the surf come roaring in at Waimea Reef? From Alaska's cold to the Everglades, from the Rio Grande to Maine, my heart cries out. The pulse runs fast at the might of her domain. You asked me why I love her. Well, I've a million reasons why. My beautiful America, beneath God's wide, wide sky. God bless America. God bless you.
At this time, I would like to call up Wade Ortner, the General Manager of the Lone Tree Cemetery Association, for his closing remarks.
All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. And for the record, we just are honored that so many of you have chosen to spend part of your Memorial Day with us. My name's Ray. I'm the Vice President and General Manager here at Lone Tree Cemetery. And Lone Tree Cemetery is a very charming and beautiful place. And I'd like to have all the charming and beautiful employees come up so that you can meet them. Come on up, guys. Everybody come on. Come on, come on, come on. They're a little shy. Oh, look at the little person. Here we go. You can. No, walk in. Walk in. Right here. All right. So I'm going to do this by department. So you didn't come in by department, but I'm going to do it by department. So just wave your hand after I introduce you guys. Okay. So as I mentioned before, it's a very, very beautiful place, and our Park Services Manager, Manuel Veloso, takes a very good, stern hand in making sure that everything is taken care of as well. Still on parking duty. We have Juanito Morales, making sure that we don't have what happened last year, boxed in with the cars. Dave Fidel, Julie Moy Moy, Jose Jimenez, and because you can never have too many Jose's, we have Jose Aragon and Cesar Rojas. These guys take so much care and pride in keeping all 45 acres meticulously groomed, and I just want to give them another hand. Thank you. And keeping Kathy happy. Another important thing. And Gary Winnie. And they basically keep Lone Tree moving and grooving and making sure bills get paid and things like that. Very, very good team there. I have a family service team that consists of Winnie Chan, Chris Stapp, Daniel Flores, and I have to call him a different name now because you met him as Manuel Beloso earlier, but Manny Beloso is also on the family services team. And we have a pre-need specialist, Karen Gonzalez. And the family service team and Karen are the people you want to talk about if you're looking to buy a crypt or a niche or anything here at the cemetery. We also are very fortunate and blessed to have such amazing guidance and leadership for some wonderful businessmen here in Hayward. So our president is Bobby Matttos. Who's not here? Who was it? There he is. Okay. We have Ron Peck is our vice president. Craig Judy is here. He's our secretary and treasurer. George Pacheco and Harold Wilkes complete the rest of our board. Thank you, gentlemen, for providing such wonderful leadership and guidance and making sure the car alarm goes off. At this time, I always like to say what's going on or what's new at Lone Tree Cemetery.